I can't mock that.
Raise.
I condone that. I guess 3,800?
3,800.
200 more for the extra 100 situation.
Love to have Bill here. One of the most entertaining players and nice guys around. Anytime he wants to come to Texas, we love having him.
Absolutely.
Or I guess I shouldn't say come to Texas. He lives in Texas, but he's not often in Austin.
Right.
These
That's
are
what I
the
understand.
situations where amateurs like me
And
do
here we
not
got a
know
4-bet
when deep
into
stacks
Bill
will
with
go
queens. This could be a good opportunity for him to climb out.
15,000.
Call.
Call.
In today's episode of Weekly Poker Hand, we are taking a look at a heads-up battle between the Supreme Overlord, Doug Polk, and a cowboy, Bill Perkins, who is determined to die with 0. In this hand, Doug Polk on the button playing 200, 400 makes it $1,100 out of the $240,000 effective stacks. How many big blinds is that? Holy moly. 600? All right. 600 big blinds deep. He raises the ace of spades, 10 of clubs. Bill with the queen of hearts, queen of clubs, pocket queens. 3 bets to $3,800. Doug is not afraid. He 4 bets to $13,000. Back to Bill. Some people think that Bill should always 5 bet. Raise, 3 bet, 4 bet, 5 bet. Yeah. But that would probably be a mistake because when you 5 bet, Doug is going to fold all but his absolute best hands. Now you may think, well, just 5 bet all the time is a bluff. But you can't really get away with that against someone whose 4 betting range is very, very strong to begin with. Plus, if you do re-raise with the queens and then Doug comes over the top, you are in a miserably bad spot because then you're going to be against aces, kings, ace king, and maybe some random ace-x suited type stuff as bluffs. So Bill is pretty much forced to call in this scenario from out of position, which is exactly what he does. Let's spin the wheel.
Check. Call.
Call.
Flop comes Jack of spades, 6 of hearts, 2 of spades. Doug has the ace of spades in his hand. Bill checks, as he will do with everything. Doug fires out $8,500, about a third pot, which is certainly fine and reasonable in this scenario where he probably has a bit of a range and a nut advantage. And Bill opts to just call again. Kind of like preflop, if Bill raises and a lot of money goes in the pot, he really does not love this situation. That said, against a small flop continuation bet from out of position with a hand that's almost always good, but is somewhat vulnerable to being outdrawn, perhaps check raising becomes somewhat reasonable. But when you're really, really deep stacked, you have to be cautious in these spots because you may end up finding yourself in a really nasty spot against aces, kings, or jacks. So Bill takes the cautious route. He just calls. Let's go to the turn.
Check.
Doug looking for an ace on the river.
Doug with the ace of spades might get a little more frisky here, planning to put him to the test on spade, which is all good news to Bill, who's sitting pretty here with queens.
$42. No,
Outside bet.
Huge bet.
52,000.
The turn is a pretty brick card, the 2 of clubs. Bill checks, and now Doug has to decide if he should keep blasting off or if he should not. So the question here is, does this ace-10 have some showdown value? And I think it may. You certainly don't love it, though, because when Bill 3 bets preflop, calls your 4 bets, check, calls your flop bet, he's probably going to be in okay shape against ace-10. And if he happens to be behind, he probably has plenty of outs. And if it does go check-check on the turn, and then Bill is sitting there with worse than ace-high on the river, he's probably going to bluff, and you can't realistically call with the ace-10. So I think bluffing in this scenario is at least reasonable. Also, the nice thing about bluffing the ace of spades in this spot is that if the river is another spade, you can very reasonably represent the ace high flush because you know Bill does not have it because the ace of spades is in Doug's hand. So I don't think you have to bluff in this spot, but if you all have watched Doug Polk play poker, he loves to blast. And blast he does. The pot is $43,000 and Doug does not bet $20,000. He does not bet $40,000. He bets $52,000. Putting the pressure on Bill. Let's see how he proceeds.
52,000.
Call 52.
Here we go, folks.
Quick call.
Some people may think, oh, you got to go all in or fold at this point, right? But no. If Bill shoves all in for $150,000 more, Doug's going to play close to perfectly. Yeah, he may call it off with ace-jack, maybe king-jack, but he's also going to call aces and kings and jacks, which should make up a decently large chunk of Doug's range, right? And if Doug is bluffing, it allows him to just easily fold all the hands that are drawing thin to dead, kind of like ace of spades 10. So Bill definitely wants to call to keep Doug in the pot. Nice play by Bill so far. Let's see what happens on the river.
There's going to be an ace or perhaps the king. Oh, that is going to be a card. That's going to be a card.
Doug with the dry ace. Will he make another stab at this?
I expect Doug is going
All in.
to go all in.
Oh, my goodness.
This is going to take a while.
The river is the nine of spades. The flush comes in. Bill checks, and Doug rips it all in for about the size of the pot. Ugh. Nasty spot for Bill. He now loses to aces, kings, jacks, ace-2 suited, and a whole lot of flushes that very reasonably could value bet. What do you think he's going to do?
This is a tough spot. It's a 4-bet pot. He could be up against aces, kings,
It's really going to depend on
jacks,
what time it is.
or a
what time is
flush,
it?
or a bluff.
Yeah.
Bill asking what time it is.
Doug looks really serious here. I feel like I've never seen him look more serious.
It's 148.
What do you think, Rick? Call or fold?
I think he's calling.
I think he's calling too. A painful but correct call. That's what I think is happening.
What do you think, chat? One if he calls, two if he folds.
Ah, you're so balanced.
A lot of people think he's going to call.
We got some twos in there. 70-30, 75-25.
Doug, if I went all in on the flop, I mean on the pre-flop, would you have called? Doug?
Doug's going to choose not to answer that question.
Is that a large thing?
All of a sudden, conversation stops. Huge pot. If he calls, it would be the biggest ever on a Lodge live stream. 420,000 is the record.
Pick a number between 1 and 7.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Call.
I lose.
Oh, the randomization.
Yeah, he called.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Nice call.
Good number. Doug, you put me to the test.
Uh,
Put me to the test.
Huge
sometimes you
pop.
have to.
I'm not the captain of calling school. I only graduated, I was second in my class, but out of the pit of despair.
Bill
I was
gonna
in the
do?
pit of
is going to
despair.
double up.
After much deliberation, trying to get Doug Polk the robot to talk to him, unsuccessfully, Bill decides to consult the random number generator. I can tell you what Bill is thinking. He's thinking, all right, pick a number 1 to 7. I'm going to call if you choose 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. I don't even know what number they called. It doesn't even matter. Bill found the call, and he was rewarded with a very nice double up and a $461,400 chip pot with a spicy bluff catcher. Fun hand. That's going to be it for today. There have been a lot of heads-up battles in poker's history, but what I want to know before we leave today is what is the one heads-up for rolls battle that you want to see? Who do you want to battle it out for all the money so that one player gets rich and the other is stone broke? Let me know in the comments section down below. And while you're down there, make sure you click the like and subscribe button. I like watching Bill Perkins play. He's one of my favorite poker players. If you have not checked out his book, check out the book Die With Zero. It'll teach you how to get rid of all your money by the time you're done. And if you want another fun hand where he does something that I have never seen happen at the poker table, make sure to check out this video we have lined up right now.